Yeah, well, Hawkeye women with another impressive victory on this Sunday. The women going up to the McLeod Center in Cedar Falls and taking down the UNI Panthers 74-41. The Hawkeyes complete a trio of dominating performances versus Missouri Valley Conference teams. It all started with Evansville a week ago, of course, Drake midweek, and now UNI. A 33-point win behind the likes of Chit Chat Wright, Layla Hayes, Addie Deal got in on the action today. We saw some good play from Hannah Stolke. By the way, Chit Chat Wright is our RTI Threads player of the game. 19 points for Chastity, 7 of 8 from the field, 3 of 3 from 3. She was phenomenal. Would like to cut down on turnovers, up her assist numbers. That will come, I'm sure. Some of her bigs missed some shots early. I thought that, Ava Hayden's dealing with some foul issues right now. Better deal with them now as opposed to later. She's going to be dealing with them later, too, if she don't get it figured out, because you're going to get better bigs that she's going up against night in and night out. But Layla Hayes came in, played well off of Chastity. But Chit Chat Wright is our RTI Threads player of the game with 19 points on 3 of 3 from outside and 7 of 8 overall. She also gets our Big Grove's big play of the day. How about that nasty crossover early in the second quarter to put Iowa up 19-8, give them a double-digit lead. They never look back from that point forward. Nasty crossover, finished off by a little mid-range shot to give Iowa that 11-point lead with 9:13 left in the second quarter. What a pretty move. And she had several of them today with the handles. She by far has the best handles on the team, and you could argue the best handles since, I don't know. That'd be a better question for Kasheen Alexander. Kasheen is not with us this evening. She is unfortunately under the weather. If you tuned in for our show the other day, she was dealing with it her daughter dealt with it a little over a week ago. Now Kasheen is really under the weather. I don't think she's got a voice right now. So Kasheen, get better. We'll do our best to hold down the fort without you. It has been a while since I've done one of these shows without a sidekick. All right. I used to do them all the time, right? Before we officially made Iowa women's basketball postgame a regular feature on this platform here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. I did these shows quite regularly during big occasions, even a time or two with wrestling, but also with women's basketball and occasionally with men's basketball. But we have greats like Don Patterson, Matt Kroll, Kasheen Alexander, Gary Close to back me up night in and night out, but not tonight. So, folks, the phone line is open. The phone line is on the bottom ticker. It's 515-635-1601. If you have a comment or a question following Iowa's victory, we'll hit our phone line to start this show this hour. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with yours truly. Who's on the line?
Hey, this is Tony. Cory, how you doing?
Hey, Tony. How you doing, sir?
Good. Full disclosure, I did not watch any of the game.
I love when people call in. I love you, Tony, but I love when people say that right away because it's almost like you're saying, well, the validity of what I'm about to say is null and void. But go ahead.
Well, no, I'm gonna talk about just a general topic.
Okay.
Do you think that in some day and age we may quit playing the two other in-state schools in women's basketball?
I don't think Jan's got any intentions of doing that. That's a good question. I think Jan's got too strong Lisa and Jan, right? With the roots they had with Drake. I think that's my guess is that's part of it. I had this conversation with Kasheen Alexander the other night, and I just said, hey, play devil's advocate here. What's the point of playing these games? Because you risk losing. I mean, Iowa State learned the hard way last year. Hey, Iowa went to overtime at the Knapp Center with Caitlin Clark a few years back. So they're difficult games to win. Now, this year is a total exception. I mean, it's amazing when you look at the margins here. These last two games, the Hawkeyes defeating Drake by 42, and today they defeat UNI by 33. But that's pretty rare to run through both opponents, especially when you go on the road at either the McLeod Center or at the Knapp Center. So, long story short, I don't know. I would never predict that for these games to go away during the Jan era. And it's been a pretty one-sided series on both accounts, but they are difficult games. So I don't know. I'm still, Tony, I'm of the mindset, being an Iowa guy, I'd still like to see the men start playing these teams again. But we know that's a thing of the past. If the men are ever going to resume the rivalry, the series, it's probably going to have to be a neutral court. Or
Carver-Hawkeye even. I mean, really.
I don't think
I guess that's what I'm getting at is I should have also clarified, even going on the road. Do you think it might even get to the point where, we're not even going to go?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What reason? This is my question. Maybe there's a financial reason why it's in Iowa's best interest, or not even for Iowa's best interest. If there's an interest for Drake and UNI, but if you're Drake and UNI, what reason do you have to come to Carver every year? That'd be what I'd ask. Is that something that you want to do every single year? And how rare is that? I don't know. Maybe it's happening other places, but are you aware of out-of-conference rivalries or out-of-conference series in men's or women's hoops where one team plays at the other team's venue every single year? I just don't know of that happening.
No, it's not. It doesn't. I guess also this is another layer to the onion is I'm hearing that I think you couldn't get this as a single game ticket. Is that right?
No, I looked last night. There were single game tickets last night.
Okay, maybe that was 2 years ago when Caitlin was still playing. That when we played at Drake and UNI those years, those schools wouldn't let you get this as a single game ticket. You had to get the season ticket.
That is not true at all. That's not true either. I was at each of the last two Drake games as a fan.
Okay. I heard that again. This was secondhand information.
Yeah, maybe that may have been the case at Northern Iowa when Caitlin went there.
Okay,
but I know because I was there at the Knapp Center in the crowd that they sold general admission and seat-specific tickets for those Iowa games.
Okay, and it may have just been the UNI one too.
And you may just be totally out of touch because you're a Sioux Falls native, anyways, right?
No, I am a Weaver, Iowa native. Which, if anyone knows where Weaver, Iowa is, bonus points to them.
No idea.
It's just south of Burlington.
Okay.
Right between Burlington and Fort Knox. The other reason I was calling into is I want to drum up business or your Discord, because we're getting some good chat going in there, and I am going to volunteer. If someone commits to 3 months, I will pay for their first month for the next 3 people.
Oh, how about that?
So
Tony,
if someone wants to put and get the next 2 months, that'll get you through most of the basketball season and the heart of football season. So if you commit to $10, the next 3 people, I will throw in the $5 to get your 3rd month for free.
So are you honoring this for one person or multiple people?
3 people. Three people. The first three people, because you got 3 wins over Missouri Valley teams this week. So it's a 3 for promotion. That's why I'm doing 3 people.
All right.
So the first 3 people that commit to 3 months, I'll pay for their 3rd month. If you know where to get a hold of me, and I'll send you the $15 for that. Then you show me that they paid their $10.
There you go. So, folks, you heard it first. We, of course, have the deal going on to join our Discord server. It's basically just a big conversation with me and with Kyle Spence, people like Tony, the mainstays here at from the Hawkeye of the Storm. So think of it like a messaging board, like a message board or a messaging app if you're not familiar with Discord. But, yeah, $5 a month or $50 a year, and Tony is volunteering to cover 3 people's first months if you commit to 3 months. So that's $10 out of your pocket for the entire rest of basketball season, and even into close to spring football as we approach.
And the bowl game and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, folks, if you want to take advantage of that, donate $10 on PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. Label your donation Discord, and we'll collect the other from Tony, and you'll be in for the next 3 months. Appreciate that, Tony.
And then could we break down women's basketball bracketology and all the scenarios? I just got done listening to the end of your men's postgame with Kyle, how you guys went through all the playoff scenarios.
We didn't go through basketball bracketology in November. The problem is the Iowa women have not played anybody with a pulse yet. That's what's scary. Look, like under normal circumstances, as I kind of led with, if this was a game that Iowa won by 33 in recent memory, I don't remember the last time, and maybe there is a year, people who follow Missouri Valley or some of these smaller schools in the state of Iowa closer than I do, then you let me know. But I don't remember the last time there was a Northern Iowa team or a Drake team that seemed this far behind. Now, maybe we're going to find out this next week when the going gets good for Iowa football or Iowa women's basketball. Maybe we'll find out that these were really impressive wins, and maybe Northern Iowa and Drake aren't as bad as they look. Now, Drake was picked 4th in the league in the Missouri Valley. We don't know where Northern Iowa was picked. So, I take a little bit more stock into what Iowa did to Drake the other night. They did win by 42, but it appears to me that conference is down. I think that Missouri Valley Conference is way down because Valpo's horrible. Evansville's obviously horrible, and it does not look like Drake is very good. Certainly Northern Iowa's down. So those have been some Valpo, I don't know about them. Those have been some mainstays in the league. But once they're going to get Baylor this next week, Tony, as you know.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate game. I mean, it's going to be a real litmus test for these women. Late night game on ESPN2 national TV, ranked opponents, and then they get Miami later the same week. Mm-hmm. So it's going to get real tough real quick. And then, of course, Iowa State's coming around the corner as well.
And don't you have UConn too?
Yeah, they get UConn down there. If you wanted me to run through it, they get UConn all in before they hit the new year. They get Baylor, Miami, UConn. They got to go to Piscataway, and they also get Penn State at home for the Big Ten.
And Iowa State on top of that.
Yeah, and Iowa State in Ames.
Which is
in Ames.
Yeah. So you can't really scratch on the non-conference.
And Tony, this is something we haven't talked about with Kashin specifically yet, but that Ava Hayden matchup with Audie Crooks, man, she's going to have to – Ava's got to figure out a way to avoid early foul trouble because that could be easily be the beginning of the end in that game. If she gets in early foul trouble and then you're expecting – now, Layla Hayes physically, I think, can match some of what Audie throws at you, but You do not want a true freshman on the road going up against maybe the best big in the country in Audie Crooks, who can stretch the floor and score from any level. That's a recipe for disaster. So Ava's got to figure that out before they play Iowa State here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it's going to be a friendly whistle for them too.
Usually is
for Iowa State.
Usually is when your names.
Which
yeah.
You have to learn to. Is that the first true road game they have?
The first true road. I mean, today was the first true road game.
Well, yeah, sorry, first not major power.
No, actually, the good news is they get another game on the road out in Piscataway 4 days prior. They should play at Rutgers on December 6th. And I don't know where Rutgers was picked in the conference. They're not very good. Let me see here. Preseason Big Ten standings or preseason rankings. Let's see where they were projected preseason. You want to guess on this before I reveal it here, Tony?
I'm just going to say I'm going to say 13.
Well, according to the Big Ten, so are all these conferences, are they no longer picking from top to bottom? Because I'm just seeing a top 5 preseason. Was there not a full 1 through 18? Why are conferences?
I mean, there should be. What are we? We're getting that lazy nowadays, I guess.
I don't know. I'm just
there
seeing
should be a 1 through 18.
I'm just seeing a top 5, so I'll have to research that further. But no, going to Piscataway, that's. We know from the men's side, Tony, that's a difficult gym to play in if it's full, and it doesn't take a whole lot to get full.
Well, no, it's a crack. It's like 7,000, I think.
Yeah,
7,000 or 8,000 tops, and getting Iowa into town.
It's a glorified McLeod Center, is what it is.
Yeah, but it's a better atmosphere than McLeod.
Yes. Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a better. I mean, regardless of what UNI does and regardless of what Rutgers does, that's still a better team. That's going to be a more difficult trip than what we saw today.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess it's just the add on to what I started with is like, because metrics nowadays, like, I mean, I told you I'm not going to go to the men's, but I just say this point, like I told you, ask Ben when he started, like, how does he view non-conference scheduling? He says with metrics in mind. And there's metrics on the women's side too. I mean, you've got the net ranking and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I was trying to get into is, are the women going to start scheduling with metrics in mind as well?
Well, I mean, the here's the deal. I don't know. Yeah, the metrics are what the metrics are. I'm not an expert on what metrics they're using, but the women, they're scheduling difficult non-con every year now.
Yeah.
So they're scheduling like I used the term the other night that got made fun of, mini blue blood, right? They're not.
Yeah.
But they're scheduling like one when you're playing UConn and Iowa State's really stable. Iowa State's stable under Fennelly. And, when you schedule these, they played in Florida. That event down there was, they're playing a couple okay teams, kind of like what the men do. But then they're playing these neutral site games out east. That's a huge boost.
Mm-hmm.
It's something the men don't have. And, last year the women played on a neutral against Kansas. The men did the same thing against Utah. So, it'll be interesting to see what they do moving forward. But if they keep recruiting at the level they are, they're going to stay nationally relevant, and I would think they're going to continue to schedule difficult non-conferences and non-conference games. And I'd be shocked if Jan Jensen removes the Drake UNI matchups unless they start losing.
Just because of and just because of the history that she has.
Partly, yeah. I think they just appreciate, even if it's not specific to Drake. I do think people like Bluter and Jan, they're more traditionalists, and they appreciate those matchups maybe than some newcomers would.
So what would you say would be, and this just shows how little I watch of the women's team. Does Jan have a signature outfit like Ben does with his gold tie?
She does that. She rocks the what are they, like the black and gold pants. I'm not much of a apparel guy, so I won't. Wardrobe is not my expertise there, but she usually has some brightly colored pants.
The only reason I ask is I did just receive a promotion at work where I'm going to be wearing suits all the time now. And on game days, I can pretty much wear whatever I want. So for the men's, I'm going to wear the gold tie. I'm trying to think of what do I want to wear on women's games.
Don't dress up like Jan Jensen. Don't dress up like Jan.
I gotta drum up the excitement.
Sure.
Okay, that's all I had for you. Are you going to do anything Tuesday night?
Oh yeah. Hey, we're here all year. You know that, Tony. Come on.
I know, but I mean, they're playing Southeast Missouri, whatever.
I know.
And
Hey,
I
we
mean,
did.
I
Didn't we
got
do?
single game tickets to that
We
are
did an
crazy.
Ashland post game prior or after the exhibition for
Yeah.
the women. So
Yeah.
we're here all year.
That is true. All right. Well, I will see you. I will be live from Carver that night, and I will post pictures. So if you do get in the Discord, I will be live reporting in the Discord from Carver for the men's game if you have interest.
You should. Here's what you should do. You should call in from Carver afterwards.
I saw you did that, and I actually will probably have some time because I think I'm going to be taking the city bus back to where we're staying. Okay. And I don't think the Coralville city bus comes to Carver until like 10:30.
Well, I'll give the folks at Carver credit. As media members, we get access to Wi-Fi, but even the reception in Carver has really improved. It's nothing like going to Canada.
Oh yeah,
it is really solid.
I will say that because I was there for that home opener. And I had zero issues on social media and posting pictures.
Agree. I had the
and
same
using the
experience
Discord and all that stuff.
Game.
Yep. It was great. So, all right. Hey, thanks for your time, man. I'll let you get to other callers. You have a good day.
Tony. Appreciate it. All right. Gil Martin says, I thought Hayes looked much better today. Not impressive games by Hayden and Stokey. And part of the problem is, I think, just lack of discipline on the defensive end. And Hayden's getting these calls well away from the basket in some cases. And just not maintaining verticality. I brought it up like a week and a half ago after she had a big performance and didn't have any foul troubles. I said, she doesn't really maintain her verticality very well. And yeah, that's a problem. I see Chris here in the chat says Audie doesn't have the stamina needed to carry State. Boy, but she's really skilled on the offensive end. So, I'm not going to sit here and doubt Audie Crooks. I saw her put up 43 in 20 minutes against a crappy Valpo team, but a Valpo team that's probably going to compete with each of the teams Iowa just got done playing. All right. Maybe not Drake. Drake, again, probably the best of the three teams that Iowa just played, which is amazing because Iowa beat them by 42. But I would be very, very hesitant to discount Audie's ability to – they understand what they have in Audie Crooks, right? Like, she's not a freshman anymore. So I guarantee you Fennelly and that program – they know what they can do with her and what they can't do with her, and what they're doing with her is pretty darn impressive. She is, say what you want about her physically. If you think she can't last for, 40 minutes, sure, you're probably right about that. But boy, she makes the minutes that she does get count, and it's going to be a challenge for Iowa's bigs, no doubt. Patrick Wilson, when this team gets into competitive play, Emily Rodriguez needs much more playing time, much improved defensively lately, and our best offensive playmaker along with Chat. And Kim Pagel says the same thing. This is Chit Chat's team. The good news is I do think it's good news. I mean, you want somebody who's going to step up and be a leader and be someone that can hit clutch shots in clutch moments. But they have had several games. Like, there've been one game where I made the comment, Ava Hayden looked like the best player on the team. Today, it looked like it was Chit Chat Wright who was the best player on the team. Hannah Stolke's going to have her time this year where she looks like the best player on the team. And after that, are there any other players that could have individual performances like that? McCabe's going to hit shots, certain games, but, she's never going to look like the best player on the team. Kylie Feuerbach's never going to look like the best player on the team. I think, I keep coming back to this, but the dark horse in all of this is what can Iowa get consistently down the stretch into Big Ten play from Addie Deal? And I said the other night, and I got knocked for it, Addie right now does not look like a 5-star. And I'm getting distracted because this comment almost shocks me. I wouldn't be shocked if Addie transferred. Are we really saying that 4 games into her career? I mean, it takes time, folks. I mean, I know she's a 5-star, and that's why I'm saying my expectations for her this season are different than your average player, but it still takes time. And they didn't expect to. Ask Jan Jensen. I talked to Jan Jensen about this at Media Day. They did not expect Aaliyah Guyton to transfer. It was not something that Iowa wanted. They were not forcing Aaliyah Guyton out. They had plans for Aaliyah to start. It was pretty obvious Aaliyah was going to start. I had all these people tell me last year, she's not starting. You got a 5-star coming in. She's not starting. I mean, you got Addie Deal playing. How many minutes does she play in actual game time tonight? I know she played late in garbage time, but she's playing very sparingly. They did play her a little bit today with Chit Chat Wright, which I thought was interesting. But Addie's not quite ready to take the reins. No, the reason I bring her up as a dark horse is if she can figure out a way to assert herself offensively and, it's all. I think a lot of that's going to be mental with her, and we know she's got the ball skills, she's got the ball smarts. But if she can give you a few games where she does look like a 5-star as a freshman, then yeah, that's just another dimension, right? Another go-to that scouting reports have to account for. So I'm excited about Addie Deal. She does not look to be a 5-star right now. That's not knocking her. I'm just saying right now she's not playing like somebody. Right now she is. I'd say she's playing like she plays different positions. But if I had to rank the 3 freshmen, who do you put in front? Probably Layla Hayes. After that, probably Journey Houston. After that, probably Addie Deal. And that's, again, it's different positions on the court, right? And she's being asked to handle the ball when she's in there a lot more than Journey and certainly Layla. They've got a good group of freshmen, but it's going to take some time. And to Hawkeye's 2133's point, Addie's family did just move here. Her brother's playing basketball at Grinnell. It would be a shock if she were to leave Iowa. Last I checked, not that I'm following these people's social lives, but somebody sent me a screenshot. Apparently she's dating an Iowa quarterback. So, take that for what you will. That doesn't mean she's not going to ever leave, but I think it's way too early to act like she's on the verge of transferring. Folks, if you want to call in and make your voice heard, there's a couple of ways you can do that. One being call the number 515-635 1601, 515-635-1601. And the StreamYard link is in the live chat. I'll also throw the number. I'll throw the number up on the screen just so people can see. I know it's across the bottom of the screen earlier, but here's the number to call in and share your thoughts on Iowa's dominating victory in Cedar Falls against the UNI Panthers this evening. We want to get real quick before we go to our next comment. We've got several chatters that I want to address, comments that I wanted to hit here early. But, of course, the reason we're here is because of our great sponsors. RTI Threads is one of those great sponsors, and you can shop authentic Hawkeye football apparel, player apparel for Aaron Graves, Zach Lutmer, Jacob Gill, Carson Shire. Those 4 standouts all featured on RTI Threads NIL division. So we'll show you that website here later. We show it fairly regularly here on the channel, so you're comfortable with what you can do there. Great gift ideas for your favorite Hawkeye family and friends and family members. Excuse me if I can get it out. Shop RTI Threads today, rtithreads.com. Use that /NIL. And, of course, Big Grove Brewery, you see their logo up here in the corner of the screen. What a big part of what we've been doing this year. Big Grove's been awesome. The official craft brewery of the Hawkeyes with locations in Solon, Iowa City, Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, now a new store in Omaha. So, folks, if you are in the Council Bluffs, Omaha area, get ready because we're coming to Omaha, all right? Just going to throw that out now. We'll make an official announcement about that in the coming probably 24 to 48 hours. So stay tuned on that. If you live in the Omaha Council Bluffs area, your chance to come out, join the show, be a part of the show, and experience the new Big Grove Brewery and Tap Room in Omaha. Michael, appreciate you joining the Discord, Michael. We'll get you that unique invitation to join our Discord here momentarily. So appreciate your donation to be a part of our Discord. All right, let's go back to our live chat. We've got Patrick with a super chat. Thank you, Patrick. How does Jan drop below a 10-man rotation this year without injury? Journey as a freshman is playing like Sita Falter as a sophomore, and only a crazy person takes Addie Deal out of the rotation. 100% agree with that. You're not taking Addie Deal out, even if she is struggling, and she's struggling to some extent, right? It was nice to see her hit a 3 today. We'll throw up her stats here in a second. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard, but at the same time, I think those things work themselves out, especially against better competition. I mean, when you play Baylor and Miami basically back-to-back, I mean, you're going to play your best players, and they may need more than 10 people for a while, especially if Ava and Hannah struggle with foul trouble. Hannah has no business struggling with foul trouble. She's too old at this point in her career. She's got to be better, and I think she will be. I'm more concerned about Ava Heiden's ability to stay out of foul trouble. But even when Ava's in foul trouble, you're going to get Layla Hayes. So we can break down the rotation, but obviously you're going to get Strimlo, McCabe, Feuerbach, Heiden, Deal. There's 5. Houston, Wright, Hayes, there's 8. Rodriguez is 9. And Stolke's 10. So I don't know why you have to go less than that. I mean, why do we have to assume that Jan drops below a 10 woman rotation? I don't think that's necessary. I think Ben McCollum is more likely to do that than Jan is. And I don't know. I mean, I don't follow the rotations to some great extent where I can, each of the last 5 years, how often did Jan last year and Lisa Bluter prior, play only 8 or play only 9? Maybe they were doing that. I'd have to go back and track that, but 10 doesn't seem obscene to me. And that's with Tegan Mulaney not really playing minutes. I mean, Tegan Mulaney's healthy now, and she's really not playing until garbage time. And unless something happens with Journey Houston, who does Tegan Mulaney play in place of? She's more of a 3/4, but with Emily Rodriguez, Hannah Stolke, Journey Houston, you really don't have minutes for her. She's not a 2. And Taylor Strimley, you got to throw her in the mix. She's a little undersized to be a natural 3, but she's versatile. She can play a few different positions. She rebounds well for her size. So, yeah, it's not everybody can play. And when you have how many players are on a roster? 15, right? Am I right in saying that? Maybe they got 14 this year. I have to count it up because basically that leaves, who do we not name? That basically leaves Kenise Johnson, Jada Gyamfi, Kylie Levine, Tegan Mulaney. So 14. So I guess they have an open spot, a roster spot, I believe. But anyways, I digress. I don't think they got to go below 10, and I doubt that will happen. They're not giving up on Addie 4 games into her career. Let's go to our next caller. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Who's on the line?
Oh, yes, this is Jacob. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Jacob. You calling in to rip on the Mavs?
Oh, I got to tell you.
Don't do it.
That is...
you don't have to say anything.
I'm not saying this yet. You brought this up. I didn't bring this up. But this is borderline. I'm not going to say it yet, but it's just about a dumpster fire. It's close.
Oh, it is? No, it's a dumpster fire.
It's not good in Dallas. It's really not good in Dallas. Yeah.
No, it's not.
But what I would like to say is Callie Levine.
Yes.
What I saw tonight out of her that's different than any other backup point guard in a way is her willingness to attack in the open court and attack the basket.
Okay. And
she appears to have just a natural ball handling. Just handling the ball in the open court is because that's the only thing that's not there with Addison is her willingness to at least attack the basket. There's nothing wrong with taking an open jump shot, but if you're not attacking, that's the issue is. So I was wondering what the thoughts of Callie in a way, if nobody else is going to attack the basket, does she need to play more? If she can at least do that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you even bring up someone like Callie at this point, and this is hard because again, Callie was a good prospect, former Miss Iowa. I just don't know where are the minutes? Who are you legitimately taking minutes away from to even have that conversation, Jacob?
Well,
potentially.
And that's the thing is if because you need somebody to at least try to break down the defense and in the open court, at least be able to have their head up and at least know what to do. And if you're going to, play the really, really, really long game with, I'm not trying to knock anybody, but if you're going to be super patient with Addie, that's going to be a detriment to the team against, tougher schedule, more road games, is you need somebody who's at least okay with the pressure a little bit.
So you're telling me you think you have reason to believe that Callie Levine is ready for pressure as opposed to Addie? Is that what you're saying?
So what I saw tonight, I would say yes.
What did you see tonight from Callie Levine? They were up by 30 when she came in.
Okay. In the open court, when she had the ball in her hand, she was aggressive. there's a few steals, and she was pushing.
Well, she is a more
Who else?
she is an older guard, so yeah, there might be something to that. But
And that's all I'm getting at is if you don't have anybody who's going to push the ball, which you need to do, I think that's just it's slowing down a little bit too much, in my opinion.
Well, I don't think Callie Levine's got that much better speed than Addie Deal. I'll say that. I know maybe you think she does, but I'm not.
No, I'm not mean speed.
Well,
okay, in a way with
part
speed,
of being
but
able
with
to
the
break
ball in her
somebody down
hand,
off
though,
that's
she's
part of being able.
comfortable.
But that's part of being able to break somebody down off the dribble. Addie's tried to do that, and she doesn't appear to have the quickness or the confidence to complement her quickness to adequately do that. Addie's got better handles than Callie Levine. I mean, I don't think there's any question. To just review high school film doesn't mean it's translated yet, but she's got better handles than Callie Levine. So, I mean, I think it was great for Callie to play. She got in substantially today in front of, not that she doesn't play close to home already, but I'm guessing she had some Solon people that drove up the interstate to watch her play in Cedar Falls. And hey, maybe there'd be a time this year where they need her, but I just can't imagine a scenario where she eats into Addie's minutes. And Addie's not playing great. I'm not debating that, but I just don't know that that's hard. That's a balancing thing too, because I'm not implying you call people based on your. I'm not saying you play somebody based on their recruiting ranking, but you also the reason she's considered such a highly regarded recruit, she's McDonald's All-American, is because in part because of her potential. So the potential is there, and is it detrimental to her future and then subsequently the future of the program to kind of go away from her because she's not ready? And is that going to mess with her mentally? Like there's a lot of things that go into this, I think. So
and I don't disagree with any of that. It's sometimes it's you got to trust what you see with your eyes. And
well, she's also Jan Jensen's also seeing what we don't see in practice, right? That's a part of this.
Okay, that's fair. I'm just trying to think of a way how Iowa could be a little faster, just a little faster, without chit chat. Because they're going to have stretches. I'm not talking to like 15, 20 minutes, but there's going to have to be stretches where somebody's going to have to be able to push it without her. And I don't know where that's at.
Well, I don't know where it is either. I mean, I think Chit Chat's going to have to be somebody that plays, during the Big Ten season. We'll see how she holds up. Probably 35 minutes a game. I mean, I think she's going to be a Lucy Olson type of minutes person. I don't think you're going to see the stats that Lucy put up there, but I do think she's as important as anybody, is because her ability to break down her defender is something that nobody else, including Callie Levine, has. Emily Rodriguez can do a little bit of that, but she's not an on-ball guard. So I think your best bet at creating your own offense when Chit Chat's not on the court, if you're not able to, if you're struggling to feed the post, it's probably going to be Emily Rodriguez. And I just, man, until I see Callie Levine get the vote of confidence from the coaches in a big moment, in a big setting, and I haven't seen that. Have we ever seen her play legitimate minutes during the game? I don't think we've seen that through a year and 4 months of her career or whatever it is.
No, you're right. And just to make sure to clarify so everybody knows, I'm not saying that Callie is a better player or will be a better player than Addison. It's only right now today, somebody who can at least was willing to, and that sounds bad, like I'm saying Addison can't do this. I don't mean it that way.
Are you getting ripped in the chat? I'm not reading the chat. Are you getting ripped?
No. I'm not reading it either. It's just
yeah, you're probably getting ripped.
No, probably it's just at some point you just need somebody you need to put somebody in there who's willing to do who's willing to play hard and push it at the point guard position. You just need somebody.
Yep. I agree.
And last thing I'll say is if Jason Kidd's out in the next 10 games, it's a full dumpster fire for the organization. I hope that doesn't happen, but I'm nervous. I'm nervous for you.
All right. Well, all I can say is the only path forward might be to tank. So that's unfortunately they Nico and that move, and it wasn't just Nico; it was also the organization ownership. Again, they're in a position where they may have to tank just to get out of this hole. So pretty sad.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking my call.
All right, Jacob. Thank you for the call. All right. A lot of people doubting Audie Crooks in that matchup, and obviously can't look ahead to it yet. But Bo's in the chat. Bo, good to see your face. Hayden should not bring her arms below her chest within 7 feet of the basket. Jan's gonna have to work with her on that. And I mean, this is not a new issue. She had some struggles last year. The difference is she wasn't relied upon for as heavy a minutes, and they've lost some serious minute gobblers, so to speak. Is that a term? Minute gobblers at the 5 in recent years, and all of a sudden now they're really, really young at the 5, and they were so young last year that they had to play Hannah Stolke there, and Hannah Stolke was not ready to play the 4, and it appears that she is, although she didn't stretch the floor much tonight. Did shoot 1-3, but I mean, I think the bottom line is, Bo, come on, Addie Deal is not going anywhere. What does that mean, Bo? I love you, but what does that mean? Addie Deal is not going anywhere. So we've written her off 4 games into her career. Have we really done that? 5 games into her career, whatever it is. I mean, maybe he's responding to the other comment. Bo, I hope you're responding. I hope you're not saying she ain't going anywhere as far as her career. I hope you're saying she's not going anywhere as far as transferring, because Bo, you know more than that. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt now that I'm reading your comment again in a different frame of mind. I hope that that's what you meant by this. Barbara, yes, her parents are here in the state of Iowa, and her brother is playing basketball over at Grinnell. So all valid points. Bo says, admit that I doubted Chit Chat preseason. She has shown me to be wrong. Hayden needs to not bring her arms below her chest within 10 feet of the basket. Bo's changing. He's going out to 10 feet. He said 7 feet here a few minutes ago. So thank you for the super chat, Bo. Very much appreciated. And yeah, I didn't know exactly what Chit Chat Wright was going to bring this team. I knew that she was going to give them needed ball handling skills. Kenise Johnson has not panned out to be someone that they can rely on. From a health standpoint, I can't speak to her basketball acumen because she just hasn't been available enough. And I'm sure that slowed down her development. But now the clock has ticked so much, it's like, okay, do you kind of have to move on? Calla Levine, I thought maybe by year 2 she'd be ready to go. Haven't really seen that. So, I mean, I know Jacob just called in and was advocating for Callie to play a little bit more. But I have to see it from Callie. And if we're not there to see practice, and she's not apparently getting enough leverage in practice to gobble up some minutes, then it's hard for me to be critical, because I have not seen anything in the course of play that makes me think she's substantially better than Addie Deal. Remember this, if you've watched our football shows with Coach Patterson over recent years, Coach has said this a number of times, that when he was at Western Illinois as the head coach, when Hayden Fry was at Iowa, their belief was, hey, if we've got 2 players that are similar in performances during practice, we may go with a younger player just because there's more room for improvement, more potential improvement there than with an older player. The ceiling may be a little higher for that younger player. So that's a fair point with Addie and Callie. Now, Callie's not like she's a veteran now, but Addie's a 5-star who's a true freshman. And yeah, she's playing a lot when she's not playing great. But part of that may just be the maturing process that she needs, or at least the coaching staff believes she needs, to get where they think she can, go even this year. I mean, I still have reason to believe, like I said earlier, she could potentially be that 4th player that could go off on any given night. So not saying that will happen, but I had at least expectation preseason that she could be that. And I don't think that's unfair, even for a freshman, given the fact that she's a national recruit, a McDonald's All-American. I think that's, to some extent, a fair expectation. All right. Bo, Taylor Stremlo's been playing well, yes, and her shot has, I think, greatly improved from outside. Her stroke is quicker. She got a quicker release, so that's really positive. Uh, who am I gaslighting, VMS? Who am I gaslighting? Am I gaslighting people tonight? All right. Our phone line, if you want to call in, we appreciate Jacob for calling in. Our number is 515-635-1601. 515-635-1601. Our RTI Threads player of the game, Chastity Chit Chat Right, with 19 points, 7 of 8 from the field, 3 of 3 from 3. The fancy handles, the crossovers, the floater. She's got great touch in the mid-range. She's got the outside shot. Her outside shot was what popped off to me when evaluating her Georgia Tech film, and her, even though she's not a real authoritarian verbally as a leader, she is very much willing when she gets in her groove to let it fly. And we've seen that a little bit this year. She was in her groove tonight. They just didn't need her to jack up a bunch of threes, but she was 3 of 3 when she did decide to shoot. She's an efficient scorer, obviously. And at her size, yeah, maybe there's some concerns about her getting posted up at times, but less of a concern at the one. And less of a concern, I think, in the women's game. Just given, I mean, there's increased physicality once you get to the Big Ten play, no question about it. But like, I had more concern about Brock Harding trying to defend and deal with physicality at Iowa than I do with Chit Chat Right on the women's side. Big Grove's big play of the day, Chit Chat Right's nasty crossover early in the second quarter to make it 19-8. She finished the mid-range 2, and as who's that guy's? I'm trying to think of the guy's name that does some of the NBA calls on ESPN. Man, now I'm drawing a blank. Not Mark Jackson. Mark Jones. Am I right in saying Mark Jones? I should know that, man. I guess I'm getting old. I can't remember people anymore. He would say, boy, she hit him with the sauce. And that's what she did. She hit him with the sauce on this play. A nasty crossover, finished the little floater, mid-range 2 to increase the lead to 11, and Iowa never looked back en route to a 33-point victory. All right. Let's see if we're missing any comments. If not, we may wrap this up. I don't know the last time I wrapped up a postgame show under an hour. So unless we have another caller here in the next couple of minutes, we can wrap this thing up. Patrick, thank you for your comment. Pierre says, anyone in here from Tampa planning to go see Iowa play in Orlando? That would be a fun trip. You almost wish that this trip was in a month, because you might be able to double dip and get Iowa football, because they'll likely be playing somewhere down there. I don't know what the bowl projections are saying right now for potential to go to the Citrus Bowl or back to the Outback, what used to be the Outback. But yeah, that would be a fun trip down there to see Iowa against Miami and against Baylor. Brant says that Kylie needs more minutes for Stremlo and Addy. Kylie was the first subbed out tonight, Brant. You probably noticed that. She was out of there with, 3 minutes? I think 3 minutes into the game, she was out of there. So, it doesn't always matter who starts. We hear that from Kashin all the time. It matters who's playing the most minutes, and I think that's definitely the case for Kylie. Barbara, I will absolutely convey this to Kashin that everybody missed her. Hopefully Kashin's watching this post-game show. She's not too under the weather, but I know she had no voice earlier today. So, caller, we're going to put you on a brief hold. We'll be right back. Let's go to our next caller here. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Who's on the line?
Hey, Cory, this is John.
Hey, John.
Layla Hayes and Ava, both of them bring the ball down to their hip. And I'm surprised they haven't worked with them on that, because it seems like when they start playing better competition, that'd be easier pickings just to slap the ball out of their hand.
Yeah, those are probably habits that they got away with the high school ranks, and they're still both really young. I know Ava, she's starting, and she might be their best player, maybe. Every game it's looked different, but yeah, I mean, those are just certain things that, like the verticality thing, you probably can get away with it. She's so much bigger than everybody else in high school. Once you get to the Big Ten, I mean, she's even having some foul issues now playing Missouri Valley Conference teams. So once you get to the league where you have bigger players, better length, yeah, it's going to be hard. So those are things that just take time. Hopefully they can work with her, and they'll get a little bit of a break in, is it November, December? They get trying to think, because they get a little bit of break during each holiday. I mean, obviously that the games down there in Florida. They don't really get a break in November. 4 days off, 4 days off. They get a week off between Fairfield and the start of Big Ten play. And then once you hit December, they have another stretch where they get 7 days off and then 8 days off. So those are things that before you get the meat of Big Ten play at the turn of the calendar, hopefully those are little adjustments and improvements that we'll start to see.
Personally, I enjoy Chit Chat more than Aaliyah Guyton. I'm glad we've got her.
Oh, I do too. I do too. I'm just saying they would have never went out and gotten Chit Chat if Aaliyah had stayed. And if in some crazy world they could have gotten Chit Chat, they'd have great depth at point. But they don't right now because Addie right now is not up to speed yet. So they're very reliant on Chit Chat. But no, it's fair to say that had Aaliyah not left, they probably aren't going out and getting Chit Chat right.
I agree with that. Here's a scenario for you. Okay. 8 seconds left in the game. Score is tied. Iowa has the ball out of bounds. Who gets the shot? Is it going into the post first, or is Emily Rodriguez or somebody else going to get it?
I don't think it's Emily Rodriguez. I think it's going to the post first. You got to have multiple options, right? If you're a good offensive coach, you got to have multiple options on a situation like that. But if it's a tie game, you're going to the post, probably to Hannah Stolke or Ava Hayden, but probably Stolke would be number one, option one. I still think she's going to be viewed throughout the year as the go-to player down the stretch. But then it's probably Chit Chat. The only concern with Chit Chat in a situation like that is her size, because you're obviously more vulnerable to shot blocks at that point. But her ability to create space with her handles is what will help her to overcome that size issue. But I would say it's going to go into the post, especially with how Jan, in those situations, Jan Jensen's, not always, but likely to be the person who makes the final call on plays. So my guess is they'll normally go to the post. They did that even with Monica Sonano during the Caitlin Clark era. You remember when they lost to Creighton in that NCAA tournament game? Monica Sonano took the last shot in that game. It wasn't Caitlin.
Yeah, I think it would be either Chit Chat or Emily. They seem like they're the two that can create their own shot.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't know that Emily's not even a starter right now. Doesn't mean she's not going to, maybe be called on in a situation like that. But to me, to some extent, the vote of confidence has been given more so to the three others than somebody who's not starting right now. But if it depends on the flow of the game too. If she's playing really well and Jan is feeling good about what she's been doing and she's got the hot hand, it may be a game by game situation.
Yeah.
Hey,
all right. Thank you, Cory.
John, it could be Addie Deal at some point this year because she is the 5-star. Maybe at some point it'll be Addie Deal. Again, I don't know. Maybe at some point she'll turn a corner and she'll be a break it down type of point guard. But she wasn't like a Chit Chat, right? Obviously, even in high school. But she's got really good handles, really good footwork. She's really smart. So she's somebody that maybe at some point can be nifty enough to make a play, in a one-on-one matchup late in the game.
Maybe towards the end of the season. Yeah. Personally, I'm not concerned about Addie. I just think she's been thrown in the deep end and she's learning how to swim.
That's right.
It's going to take a while.
But if they take her out of the pool, less time in the pool, it's going to just take longer.
Yeah. Her confidence right now might be shaking a little bit. Do you think?
I don't know about shaken. I don't know that I don't know how much. I think every freshman gets it shaken, but I think it's just a matter of building it. I think it's hard for a freshman not to come into college and be quote unquote shaken right away, because it is diving in trial by fire, diving in head first for anybody. So, maybe she was a little bit more confident coming into college than your average recruit because she was such a decorated recruit. But I think every recruit goes through this. Every freshman goes through this. It's just a matter of not getting too down. And that's why I think it's crucial that they let her play through this, because her confidence, if it was up here and then she gets shot way down here, and now if they bench her and they stop playing her, boy, what's that going to do to her confidence? So as opposed to a player who maybe his confidence is right here. I know you can't see me because you're on the phone, John, but if her confidence is kind of middle ground, she comes down here. Okay, you don't have as much to build back to at least get back to baseline, so to speak. But I just think the potential for Addie, even in year one, is greater than your average freshman. So you just got to let her play through this. And yes, it will take time.
Actually, I can see. I got you piped up on my 55-inch TV. So.
Oh, good deal.
All right. Thank you, Cory. Have a good night.
Thanks, John. Good stuff. Let's see here. Cool Water Swish says, Cory, I think we'll now get our official real test of the season in Baylor. I'm nervous but excited. And they add, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I believe Journey Houston is our third best rebounder on the team, currently behind Ava and Layla. Let's go back to our phone line. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Who's on the line?
Yeah, this is Chad McClary from Bourbonnais.
Hey, Chad, how are you?
I'm awesome. I have to tell you, I went from watching not really all that much girls basketball except for my daughters to watching exclusively WNBA basketball and the Iowa women. And just a couple insights real quick, and then I'll turn it back over to you. But
sure.
This Addie Deal thing is baffling to me. I think she's performing about how she should. I understand she's a 5-star, but she wasn't a top 10. And those two transfers are incredibly significant to Iowa's future. They are way better than was advertised. I'm not sure what I was expecting, but wow, are they good players. As far as the rest of the team goes, Kelly Levin's a fun player, but she's not one of our 10 best. The only girl I feel bad about not playing more is Tegan, however you say her last name. But she's just kind of in a numbers crunch at this point in time.
Well, let's just call a spade a spade. What has she, when she has played, and I know last year was last year, maybe we haven't seen her enough on the court to resolve that, yes, she's made this level of improvement. But what did Tegan Mullaney show us last year that makes you or I believe that she deserves to be in the top 10? I mean,
that's actually a great point.
I mean, she just didn't show anything. She was a liability. This is going to sound harsh, but she was a liability on defense because she's not quick laterally. She's not a great athlete. She's got decent handles, but at her position, she got to defend and make threes, and she just didn't make threes at a high enough clip last year. So, yeah,
you're correct.
It's just hard, and she's an average rebounder at best. And she's got good length, so you'd expect her to be a better rebounder. So,
she has flashes. Even this year when she's played, she's had a few flashes, and last year. But you're right. I like her, but I mean, I don't feel sorry for her. I mean, I don't get the Kylie Feuerbach stuff. I don't understand Iowa fans who have complained about defense when it comes to our basketball teams, and we've still got people that don't want her to play.
Yeah.
I mean, she's extremely important to our team's success. She should have been on the all-defensive team last year. She is a sensational defender, and it frustrates me that Iowa fans don't see that.
By the way, I just looked up the stats. Tegan Mullaney last year, true freshman year, shot 39 times from deep and made 23% of them, and that's just not good enough.
Wow.
Now they're tracking these numbers. They're tracking these numbers in games. Believe me. But I don't want to give you per game numbers anywhere else, but I will give you her per 40 numbers. So her per 40 numbers, she's averaging last year. She averaged 9.7 rebounds, so not nearly, not horrible.
Right.
9.7, 14.6 points. Let's see here. Assists, 2.3 assists. Her field goal percentage as a whole, 34%. And that's what she came here to do, is to be a really good offensive player. And what she looked like last year was a 3-point shooter that couldn't make threes. And again, that sounds mean. I'm not trying to be
you're
mean,
right.
But what she did up in Wisconsin prior to her time at Iowa, she was a go-to offensive player. And I know a lot of these girls are in high school, but with her size, I just thought she'd be more of an all-around offensive threat. She's just not shown that yet. So she's not making threes. It's hard. It's kind of like Taylor McCabe early in her career. If Taylor McCabe wasn't making threes, what was she giving you? And
you're 1,000% right.
And at least now Taylor has become, that much better defensively and that much better of a rebounder and that much more ready for the moment to at least even when she's not shooting the ball great, she's still a threat out there, and she's not a liability other places. Tegan Mulaney's not there yet. So if she's not shooting the ball well in practice, I think you're going to be hard pressed to see Jan just say, okay, let's see if we can get her out of this slump, because she's not giving you anything anywhere else.
Absolutely. And your point on Taylor is another Iowa fan thing that used to really frustrate me. She looked lost a couple years ago.
Yeah.
She was better last year, but she looked lost. She didn't know what to do on defense. She didn't know what to do on offense other than run around on the 3-point line. She is night and day a better player now. She's a fun player to watch. She plays hard. Her defense is better. Quite frankly, I like this game today. I know some people thought it was a poor game, but man,
I don't understand that.
When you
can I just I just want to ask this question. I see that in the chat that this was not a great performance from Iowa. I guess my question, like Chris said that earlier, and I'm not saying you're wrong, Chris, but I don't understand where you're coming from. You won by 33 on the road at UNI. You put your third string players in the third quarter. What more do you want? Does it need to look a certain way against UNI? I don't think it does.
Well, how bad did it look? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
they had 15 points in the first half.
They won by 33 on the road. Anywhere, 33 on the road, anywhere in the country, unless this D1, you win by 33 on the road in this country. Nobody is gonna the panel. Maybe he's just saying, well, I saw some certain thing, or he or she is just saying, I saw certain things between the lines that didn't look right, and that's fine. I mean, I don't like Ava and her issues with fouling right now. I thought Hannah got a little careless early. I'm still not seeing enough from Addie to buy into her being a real impact offensive player this year. But those are little things that I think can work themselves out. I don't know enough about this team yet because they haven't played a difficult schedule to know, are they going to be able to be competitive against Baylor? Will they be able to get a win down there in Florida? Maybe they will, but I've just got more questions than answers, but I'm not doubting this team based on what I've seen.
Definitely not. I'm actually pretty impressed with the defense. Rodriguez's defense was poor early. It's improved, and she is a offensive juggernaut. This chit chat, right? I'm shocked by. I have to tell you, I was not excited about a 5-5 point guard. Wow, was I wrong? I mean, she's terrific. Hannah gets sloppy, just like Hannah always has, but she's a dynamite player. Ava, kind of like Hannah, just does some dumb stuff. But I'm pretty impressed. I think this is a legit 9-deep team, maybe 10, and they're young. And Kylie Furbach's important. That's pretty much all I got. I do listen to you from time to time. You do a great job. So does Kasheen. And God bless you, and keep cheering on the Hawks.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the phone call.
Yep.
Good stuff. Okay, we're going to go to our next caller. Yeah, call anytime, sir. Very good questions and comments. Before we go to our next caller, Chris in the chat, or Christy, I should say, in the chat, says, question for Cash, was UNI a better team, or were the Hawks playing was UNI a better team, or were the Hawks playing sloppy? Better than what? Am I missing something here? So they won by 31. Is Christy saying they should have won by more than that? Maybe I'm reading your question wrong. Sometimes when you get up here on live, quote unquote, television, radio, YouTube, podcast, whatever this is, sometimes you read these comments wrong. So Christy, I may be reading your comment, your question for Kasheen wrong. Of course, Kasheen's not here, but were the Hawks playing sloppy, or was UNI a better team? Yeah, I'm not quite sure. You may have to rephrase that for my simple mind, but UNI's down. There's no question about it. UNI's down. They've lost players. Maya McDermott's not there anymore. Buffelli's not there anymore. They were 0-2 heading into this game. They had played a couple of decent programs. I think St. Louis was on the schedule. Don't know much about that women's basketball program. It's a good basketball program. I think South Dakota State was their other loss. Those games were relatively close. I didn't expect Iowa to win by 33. I didn't know what to expect. I thought maybe they'd win by 15 or 20. But I don't know. Once you get past like that 20-point mark, I think diving too far into the margins is tricky. Tim will save this question for a future show with Kasheen. He wants to know about NCAA women's volleyball predictions, and I'm sure that Kasheen can provide some insight there. Brant, I appreciate you, Brant. I just want to let you know, anybody else, when people beg me to move on from a caller, I appreciate your eagerness to move on. But if you don't like the calls we have, you are free to call in yourself. We kept our first caller on the line. Nobody else was calling in. So there's no other callers to get to. When you say next caller, unless there's another caller on the line, I'm not going to say next caller. There is no next caller. So anyways, if you want to make that change, certainly call in. Bo, thank you for clarifying. I read your comment wrong. So there's a good example of me not doing my our listeners justice. So Bo was saying that Deal was not going anywhere in response to the implication that she might transfer. Tyler, if you want to call in, 515-635-1601. 515-635-1601. Let's go to our next caller. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Who's on the line?
John.
Hey, John.
Yeah, I was just calling in. The game was, they just one couple things I was going to mention here, but one thing is they need to get better on the threes and the free throws. They only had one game where they shot good threes, and I don't think they've had a game where they've shot much over 50% from the free throw line.
Yeah,
a couple things
29% from Iowa today from three.
McCabe was 29, and
McCabe was 2 of 6. Stremlo was 1 of 3. Deal was 1 of 5, and Mulaney was 0 of 3 when she came in there. So I agree, and I think that's Kashin's one of her bigger concerns is 3-point shooting. And
because they're gonna
go ahead.
Yeah, they're gonna need both of those when they get up against the better teams.
Yes. Yep. And we don't know anything about this team as far as rebounding the ball. We know nothing about this team. They just haven't had. That's not a stat that it's not like 3-point shooting where I think you can to some extent measure a team's 3-point ability even against some no-name teams. I mean, you're going to go up against better defenses once you get into league play and better competition, but rebounding is really hard for me to measure. So we'll see how quote-unquote dominant Iowa can be on the glass throughout this year. I can tell you that today against this Northern Iowa Panthers team, Iowa beat them. They were plus 11 on the glass. So doesn't tell me a whole lot. UNI shot 23% from the field. So plus 11 ain't all that impressive when a team shoots 23%. Hey, you force them to shoot 23%, but you ought to be plus double digits.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, pretty much everyone, the one guy was talking about, them forcing it up the court fast enough. I mean, some of them were trying to, but it doesn't mean it's right there. If the other team's getting back, I've seen them make some long passes from the back court up to the half court and stuff. And he was talking about Levine. Yeah, she tried to hurry up, but he seems to be in too much of a hurry and tries to force stuff into the middle. And there's a couple of them. Even Rodriguez has a tendency to want to get up there and force herself into the pack up there. I think some of them would be better off if it is, take a short 2 instead of trying to get in there.
Yeah, I don't know what Jan's. I know with Ben McCollum, because I asked him this question at Media Day. Ben McCollum's theory on 2-point shots is he really doesn't like anything outside of the paint, anything away from the rim. He just doesn't believe the analytics. He doesn't believe that the analytics believe that the mid-range is much of an art anymore. So he wants his players shooting layups and threes. So I don't know if Jan, if that's how kind of Jan preaches it as well. But now we did see like Addie O'Grady. She shot the mid-range pretty well from the baseline. But yeah, there's not really anybody on this team besides maybe Chit Chat when she drives that I would say is real effective, has shown themselves to be real effective in the mid-range yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and yes, they can get into the basket better. They need to do something, but whatever. If they can start driving better.
It will help if I tell you what, it will help if Addie Deal can come along, because I still think she may not be the quickest player in the world, but as a lead guard with her ball skills and her smarts, like you don't have to be. Look at like guys like Luka Doncic. Now he's a total exception. He's an outlier, but he is not slow. He's not fast off the dribble at all, but he gets to the rim when he wants to. And part of that is because he's really smart. And I think Addie's got some of that. She's really basketball savvy. So once her confidence comes along, like Lemansky says here at the Super Chat, he says it would not surprise me if Jan plays Addie as an off guard at times to bring along her confidence. Maybe that happens, but I think the last thing we're going to see is her minutes taken away. But you're right. Getting to the rim is going to be essential, especially if things get clogged up in the paint. Your ability to break somebody off the dribble like Chit Chat Wright did a couple of times tonight, that opens things up for Taylor McCabe, for Kylie Feuerbach, and Tegan Mulaney's in the game. So absolutely agree. And then you have your dogs. You have your Emily Rodriguez, your Journey Houstons, your Layla Hayes, who's going to come in and spell minutes. So I think that's the role for everybody here.
Yeah. The only thing I noticed with Rodriguez is she has a awfully big stride.
She's long. She is long. She's not the quickest, but she's crafty as well.
She takes such a big stride that I think that slows her down a little bit. Plus, it's going to make it harder for her to maneuver.
Well, she's got some pretty good handles, but you're right. Yeah, I think we're going to like seeing her length with the ability to break people off the dribble. And, the comment was made earlier, is Emily somebody that you could give the ball too late? Potentially because of her, not because of quickness, but because of her size and her ball skills.
Well, she does good. I mean, she plays good.
Oh yeah, no, these two transfers have been a saving grace for this program without question. Yeah,
and we'll have to see when they play. Who they got coming up? Baylor.
They got Baylor on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll see. Everyone. They've played these supposedly easier games here. Maybe they need a little more seriousness to go at them, so they can show what they can do.
Yeah, it goes from 0 to 60 here. We got these are two legitimate programs. I don't know as much about at Miami than I do Baylor right now, but Baylor's top 10 and away from home, so it's going to get real hard real fast.
Yeah, and they're still a growing team. I mean, it's mostly the people they want to play are freshmen and sophomore.
Yep, still really young, absolutely.
So, and they got some good players coming in next year, and I just think you got to give them a chance to improve, all of them.
Absolutely.
Well, that's about it.
All right, John. Appreciate you calling in, sir.
Okay. We'll talk to you later.
Have a good one. All right. Love all the phone calls. See, as soon as I tell people we're going to kill the phone line, everybody wants to call in. Sam, thank you for reminding everybody. Please hit that like button, folks. Please do that. Hit the like if you're here. It's certainly appreciated, and it does help us in the algorithm when you choose to do that. So please hit the like button, whether you're watching on your iPad, your phone, your smart TV, your computer. It's very easy to do that. Please do that. Thank you in advance. Rachel says, when we get to more difficult play, how many players do you imagine Jan will be playing in a game? Just curious about how this will get narrowed down. I don't know that I would. I mentioned this earlier, Rachel. Personally, without diving into Jan Jensen's track record, or even we've only seen 1 year of Jan Jensen, right? So I don't really know that we can be definitive on this, what she wants of the rotation anyways. But what I would say to that is, right now with what I see, I think they're going to be hard pressed to get below 10, and I don't know that you need to be below 10. And right now, Ava Hayden has proven to be someone who is, getting into some foul trouble. Now they have somebody behind her in Layla Hayes, who's probably just going to take the minutes that Ava's not on the floor for. But I just don't know at this point who you would take off the floor. So I've already told you why I don't believe Addie should be, getting her minutes removed. Chit Chat's going to have to play almost every minute. Ava's got to play a ton. Layla's going to play because Ava struggles with foul trouble. Hannah's got to play a ton. Kylie's going to play. Now, her minutes could be reduced. People like Kylie or even Taylor McCabe, they're veteran seniors. But if Taylor stops hitting threes, if Kylie's, just totally ineffective on offense, maybe her minutes get reduced. But I think 10 is the easy number. If you want to argue 9, I would like to know the explanation as to who gets taken off the floor. So I'll go with 10, and I don't think that's too many, Rachel. I mean, we've seen teams go with more than 10. Maybe you get to tournament play. It's not practical, but I think 10's an easy guess. Cool Wash Swish says, have a question for you. Do you think Addie takes too many threes? Just curious to know the opinion. I mean, I am totally fine right now with her jacking threes when she's in the game. And I say that because it's a sign to me that she hasn't totally lost her confidence. If she starts coming in the game and not shooting open threes, that's when I start to get worried. I'd rather her taking, as a 5-star freshman, I'd rather her coming in the game and shooting when she has the ball. Now, if she starts taking ridiculous threes, fine. I get the concern at that point, but I have not seen that to this point. Let's go back to our phone line. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Who's on the line?
This is Tyler in Cedar Falls.
Hey, Tyler, how are you?
Good. Just got home from the game. First time I ever watched Iowa women's game in person, and that was just an afternoon well spent. I was very satisfied as a fan with nearly everything I saw. It's kind of surprising that maybe it didn't translate to the TV or ESPN Plus or whatever, but I was completely happy.
Yeah, I don't know what some of that negativity is centered on. I don't see anything specific that people have brought up other than, we had a caller that brought up they're not, they didn't shoot the three great tonight, but I mean, it's, they held them to 23%. That doesn't mean they're going to hold teams in the Big Ten to 23%, but maybe it's an
right.
indicator.
And I don't see them holding Baylor to 23% later this week either, but still,
it's still at least an indication that I would have to think they held Evansville in the 40s. They held Drake under 60. So far, so good defensively, even though they haven't really been tested. Based on what we saw last year paired with what they have back this year, they held Southern to 51, held Ashland. I'm not going to count the exhibition. We got to wait and see. We got to wait and see. But we know this program under Jan is going to be more defensive oriented, defensive minded than Lisa Bluter's squad. So, I don't have any problems with what we saw tonight.
No, neither do I. I did take some notes. I believe I called you and Kashin with the Ashland game and was kind of compiling a list because it's way too early to prognosticate how far this team's going to go into next year in the postseason. But I did want to kind of put down little mile markers or little things that I was watching. And, the first thing that we kind of talked about was, Addie Deal. There was concern about her early. I don't know what you saw, and like I said, I haven't listened to most of the show, but what I saw is I think there's still work to do, but I think she's rather coming along rather nicely. What I saw in person, I was comfortable with her bringing the ball up the floor. There was a couple of mistakes in there, but and I think at times the game still moves a touch slow for her, but long-term prognostication on my part is I think she's going to be just fine. And I'm probably one of the most caustic, cynical, worrywart fans you'll ever see. And if I'm saying that, then I'm feeling pretty good about the situation. Is that what you're seeing?
Well, I'll tell you this. I think one of the concerns we had, whether it was the exhibition post game or that first official game, one of my concerns was her turnovers. And because she had a game, she had 7 turnovers in her official debut against Southern. So there was a concern. Now, since then, 2 against Evansville, 2 against Drake, 1 against UNI. And she's basically...
And I saw that one, and she did look like she telegraphed that one, but, compared to what I saw on the TV earlier in this is marked improvement. I think we should be very happy about this.
I agree. And so the concern that I had to some extent against Southern, I'm not totally taking away from that because it's only been 4 games. They haven't played better team. But she went from 7 to now in the last 3, she's averaging under 2 per game. So that's positive. Her assist numbers have meanwhile gone up 2, 3, 3, 4, little tiny things. She's not shooting the 3 very well. I think that's the big thing right now. She's 4 of 16. So she's shooting 25% from 3. She's not getting to the line. And she's not playing a ton of minutes, right? She's playing a lot in garbage time. They've won every one of these games in blowout fashion. So this was actually the closest game. This is crazy. This was the closest game of the season so far, tonight's win.
That's a problem you want to have. That's really good.
It is a problem. Well, it might be, but it could also be a problem that you don't want to have because this team is not, you could argue they're not battle tested and they're going down to two very difficult games in Florida. But no, I think glass half full approach. You're seeing little improvement from Addie. Like I said earlier in the show, I don't want to see the coaching staff bench her, give up on her, reduce her minutes yet, because I just think it's too early to do that, and there's too much on the line for somebody that has probably had a ton of confidence for years, and most players out of high school do, but somebody like Addie, I just think there's more harm of kind of pushing them off a figurative cliff early in their careers if you start playing with that.
And I, if I thought that she was not improving, I might disagree with you. But from, like I said, what I'm seeing is that she's making those little improvements that don't justify the coaching staff doing that. One thing you mentioned, you and Kashin mentioned, is Taylor Stremlow in comparison to going out of the gate playing better. Now, I did hear the part of the show where you were saying that you were more pleased with her performance. I didn't hear in what regard that you liked what she was doing.
I wouldn't say that I was. I wouldn't say that I was particularly impressed by her performance tonight, but in general, to me, it appears that she's improved her 3-point shot. I think she's got a quicker release than she demonstrated last year. At least that's what appears to my eyes. Her numbers, if you just looked at her per 40 numbers, they have improved substantially. So she's shooting so far very early. She's shooting 58% from the field. That's plus 12 from last year. She's shooting 43% from three. That is plus 12% from last year. Her per 40 on rebounding. She's plus 1.6, so 8.6 rebounds from 7 last year. Took her steal numbers, her per 40 steal numbers from 1.7 to 5.4. Her block numbers are up from 0.7 to 3.2, and her point numbers are up from 6.5 to 18.4. So what's there that's not to like? And by the way, that doesn't count today. That's through 3 games. So I'd have to figure her UNI totals today. Those are per 40s. So that's marked improvement.
You were talking about 3-pointers earlier, and I noticed Hannah was taking some today, and as I recall, she didn't make one. Are you still comfortable with her, attempting that shot? Because I am, actually.
Yes.
I think down the road she'll be able to hit that a little bit more. So I have no problem with that.
I'm not concerned with. Here's what I'm not concerned with. I'm not concerned with her taking a bunch. What I'm concerned with is her being able to make one a game. Just give them one, and at least give that impression, that reality check to the defense that, okay, we at least have to account for her.
Keep them honest.
Absolutely. That's what that means. So I know she didn't make one tonight, but she has made them, and she's going to have to make one here or there. I think one a game is a good goal for her. I don't want her taking more than a couple each game. So, she's got to be able to keep the defense honest if she's playing the 4. And we saw a little bit. Hey, how about this? We haven't brought this up. We saw a little of Hayden and Hayes on the floor at the same time tonight. We also saw a little bit of Deal and chit chat on the floor at the same time tonight. So Jan did some experimenting there.
Yeah, and it looked like it really worked out well. I mean, from where we were, I was around a bunch of Iowa fans, and we were quite pleased to see that. That has some tantalizing possibilities for the future, and I hope there's some more experimentation in that regard. Last question before I let you go and get on to somebody else. It's early in the season, but have we had a look at Baylor yet? Because I haven't really done too much looking into about. I know they're number 7 in the country, but that's about all I know. Have you checked into them at all?
Well, they beat Duke earlier this year, so that's their marquee victory. They really haven't played anybody else. I don't know much about UNLV. That was a game they did win earlier this year, and I believe that game was in Vegas. I think UNLV is 2-1 on the year with wins over DePaul and Wazoo. So, maybe that win for Baylor will look good. But so far, Baylor has been they've been good. They haven't dominated the teams they've played, with the exception being Lemoyne. They beat Lemoyne by 56. But every other game has been a relatively close one. They beat UNLV on the road by 8, beat Duke at home by 6, and Lindenwood by 13. So I haven't studied their roster, but preseason, I believe top 15 at least. I don't know where they finished in the preseason polls, but Duke was preseason top 7, and they may not prove to be what we thought they would be. They're 3-2 so far with losses against Baylor and West Virginia, but that's their one good win.
Yeah, and in that West Virginia game, they only had 5 players, and they gave up a lead in that game, as I recall. That really made the rounds on sports radio and the television networks that happened. So
yeah, Duke scored 49 against West Virginia, and Baylor was held. So the Duke's obviously a defensive team. Baylor held Duke to 52. So Baylor, from an offensive standpoint, just scrolling through these numbers, has not blown me away offensively. They've in their wins against Duke and UNLV, 58 and 62 points respectively.
I do respect their head coach a lot, Nikki Collin. It is rare I don't know if it's rare, but it's a good feat for a coach to replace like a Kim Mulkey and be able to get an extension and have a certain degree of success she has. So when I saw that in the schedule, I was kind of worried, but I think that I don't want to sound arrogant or, count my chickens before they hatch, but I've got a good feeling about Thursday with all the stuff that you were pointing out here. So
Baylor's shooting 35% from 3. They're 83% at the foul line. They're a 40% field goal team. They are turning the ball over more times than they would like at 17 game. You compare that to Iowa. Iowa's had virtually no competition when you compare it to the likes of a Baylor, but Iowa's turning the ball over about once less per game than Baylor. They're shooting 57%. They're shooting substantially worse at the foul line, about 10% worse, and actually they're shooting better from 3 so far. So if people want to be concerned about 3-point shooting, by the numbers so far, they're a better 3-point shooting team than Baylor. But again, until we see this test Thursday, it's hard to really compare apples to apples.
Well, I look forward to that, and thank you very much for taking my call. It's always a pleasure to speak with you, and we'll see you down the road.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tyler. All right. I see Joe's question. Who's going to be the go-to clutch shooter when the game's on the line? I think we went through this earlier. I think they're going. If you had to just at random, and it's hard to do that because flow of the game is really important, especially when you talk about final minutes of a game. So I think it's dependent on that game, the situation. But if they're tied, I think the default, the go-to, would naturally be somebody in the post, whether that's Hannah or that's Ava. It would probably be Hannah right now, and she's obviously more of a vet. So those clutch minutes, you probably trust her a little bit more than an Ava. But Chit Chat's shown the ability to create space. It's something they don't have a lot of right now from their guards. Let's go to our next call. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Who's on the line?
Hey, Cory. Tom in Des Moines, longtime viewer, first-time caller.
Hey,
big
Tom.
Fan. I don't think this will be a controversial position, but I think the most improved person on the team from last year has got to be Jan. I think the coaching choices that we're seeing are much more logical. Last year, not playing Ava the whole regular season, despite the fact that Ava got, on average, a point, is a big improvement this year. And I just love the rotations she's trying out this year. They feel less chaotic and more logical.
Yeah, I agree with you. First year under a new head coach. I know she was part of this program for a long, long time, but some of those decisions just were not hers to make, or at least she didn't have full discretion there. So I have no issues with her rotations. I know that was a question last year, and it was a little different because they were bringing in Lucy Olson, who was going to be so consequential to what they'd be doing offensively. And this year, there's some question marks. So you kind of have to just experiment with some things, and we did see a little bit of that. But Jan also, this is the first year where we look at this and say, okay, Jan is the one who brought in Chit Chat. Jan is the one who brought in, I know there was Lysandra Barrett there too. There's the factor, but she brought in these transfers. She was able to re-recruit these freshmen that came in. So I think that makes things a little bit easier to manage rotations. And, they obviously had a full off season to kind of figure some things out. Last year, they did not. Remember, Sita Falter was down with an injury in the offseason. Hannah Stolke was dealing with injury issues during the offseason. So I think rotations she was in a difficult position last year because it was her first year, because of the injuries. she's just thrown into a new situation where she's trying to manage a lot of different things. Year 2, you're naturally going to be more comfortable doing everything, and I think rotations are part of that.
Yeah, I think last year she had a real, I would say, problem handing the keys over to Lucy. You know, it took that 5-game losing streak, and the idea that Ava needed to sit on the end of the bench all season, regular season. I'm just glad we're not seeing that this year with all these wonderful freshmen. I'd like to see her do basically a hockey style substitution. You know, have a B team that just came in mass and keep those fresh legs coming in against opponents and keep those opponents guessing.
The only problem with that, the only problem with that is I don't want a scenario regularly where you have both Ava and Hannah on the bench at the same time. And I really don't feel comfortable with Chit Chat being on the bench at all right now. Against the teams that we've seen them play against, fine. But Addie's not shown me enough to where I have a ton of confidence in her running this team. And I just think that this offense is going to live and die by post play. And if you put Ava and Hannah on the bench at the same time, do we really want to put that post play solely in possession of a true freshman big in Layla Hayes? I'm not as comfortable there as you are. But when you do have 10, I guess you could go hockey lineup. I mean, mathematically, you could go 5-5.
Well, if you tried that and it didn't work, I mean, the other thing I'd love to see him try is a front 3 with Layla, Ava, and Hannah, and then in the back, you know, maybe Emily and Journey, and just make other teams go, what are we even seeing right now? I don't know, just a thought.
No, it's a good one, and I totally agree with you on rotations. And that was something that I'm not surprised by. We've had one real discussion. I know some people have been critical of Kylie, saying she needs her minutes taken away. They need to make a change there. But even with Kylie, I feel like when people have said that, Iowa fans in general are very intelligent. When fans have been saying that, they're overlooking the fact that in those games where maybe Kylie has struggled, they're taking her out early. And she's not getting the minutes that the other starters are. Like tonight, Kylie finished with 14 minutes, which is the lowest minute total of any of the starters. Addie Deal finished with 15. Now, some of that was garbage time, but Addie Deal had 15, Strimlo had 14, Layla had 20, Rodriguez had 13. So she's not really playing any more than anyone else. And so to me, that's reflective. Okay, she's a senior leader. We trust her to be a starting player, but her stats, 1 of 3 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3, 4 personal fouls, 1 assist, 0 rebounds. Yeah, I don't have any issues with rotations right now. So,
yeah, and as to Kylie, I mean, I think back to Gabby in our last Final Four, and I had frustrations all season. You know, that Gabby wasn't hitting much, but anyone who's a fan of this team, I mean, Gabby is a hero for all time with some of those plays. I mean, just stunning in the Final Four.
She sure stepped up.
You know, hopefully Kylie will have those moments too.
Yeah, her ability to defend and make threes. That's what's missing from Kylie's game. Kylie's got to be able to make open threes. So that's the one place. And I was critical of Gabby at times because she was sort of one-dimensional on offense, but at least she had a three-point shot that she made when she was open. Kylie's, I mean, I don't even know what her stats. I guess I looked up everybody else's stats. What do you think? You want to take a guess, caller, at Kylie's stats so far from 3 this year?
I'll say 2 of 8.
Okay, that'd be 25%. Let's find her official stats. She's shooting 25%. What, do you have that in front of you or something? What? Are you trying to?
No.
You're trying to fool me here?
No, my wife is looking at me. No.
Holy crap! You were right. They I don't know that I believe you. They were 2 of. Okay, she's 2 of 9. Am I right in saying that? 2 of 9. Maybe that's not. Okay, they haven't added her game against UNI. So heading into tonight, she was 2 of 8, and then she was 0 of 1 tonight. So she's slightly under the 25% mark. But yeah, she's got to be better than that. I mean, because she's not taking contested threes. So if she can start hitting threes, then yes, I think she's in that conversation to maybe be a Gabby Marshall-like, leader on this team, a gutsy whatever, if you want, whatever you want to quantify that as. But she's got to be able to make those open threes.
Sure. And just one last comment, a holdover from the Lisa days that I hope Jan moves away from, she hasn't yet, is leaving that 15th scholarship position unfilled. I still remember how gassed we were after the first quarter of our last appearance in the national playoff game. And, we had nothing left, and just one more pair of legs would have been nice. And, I know there are reasons for leaving that 15th spot open, but boy, they don't outweigh the reasons for, trying to find someone else.
What are the reasons to leave it open?
Well, all I've heard Jan ever articulate is you never know who you might need in an emergency. And I'm like, well, what?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
I have no idea what that means.
Anyway, huge fan of the show. Thanks for
you,
taking my call.
Absolutely. Appreciate you calling in. Yeah, I got some new callers in tonight. I guess everybody's scared of Kashin. Are we all scared of Kashin? So call us back when Kashin's here. This is some good conversation here. Didn't expect to be on here for an hour and a half, but all the calls came rolling in as soon as I was about to shut things down. Make your memories loud says the same way Gabby's impact didn't always show up in the box score. Kylie is like that. So, deflections are a part of that. She definitely works defensively. I'm not debating that. I just like to see her be able to make open threes when necessary, like Gabby did down the stretch. But there were times where Gabby really struggled from three, and then she turned it on come March Madness. So, it was sort of a weird trait that she had. Let's go to our next caller. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Who's on the line?
Hey, Cory, it's Christy. How are you?
I'm good, Christy. You want to explain your comment you made earlier?
Yeah, so I'm really referring to the first quarter because that's really the only one you can look at.
Yeah.
Right? And so the issue is, my question is UNI better on defense than the other teams we played thus far because our offense looked a little sloppy?
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, so hard when we have these same conversations on the football side, right? Like trying to evaluate anybody on the football side in September even, that, most of these teams have maybe played one legitimate opponent, maybe less. I'd say the same thing for basketball right now. Like I just have a hard time even weighing UNI because they've played St. Louis, South Dakota State before today. It appeared to me, I'm sure it appeared to you as well, that they are a pretty good defensive team. But I will say, if you look at the split box, Iowa scored 15 in the first, 14 in the fourth. Now, a lot of reserves were playing in the fourth, but they scored 20 in the second, 25 in the third. So I just think they came out flat. That's how I would describe it. I think they came out flat.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of like. It just looked a little sloppy. The passes looked a little behind. Like it wasn't crisp.
Yeah, and
I will say the other times they were playing in the first quarter, they looked better in the first quarter. They came out a little more revved, and I think that's what people are talking about.
Yeah, I'm definitely not one to try to make excuses for performance, but I do think first time on the road, I just think they came out flat, and I only say that because if it had been the entire game, maybe it's a little different, but they basically never looked back once they got things going. And, they scored 74 with that flat quarter, with the reserves playing in the fourth on the road without the good 3-point shooting. So, I mean, maybe that's just totally a homerism, glass half full viewpoint on this. But, the first quarter, the first 5 minutes were ugly. They didn't score Iowa didn't score a field goal until
it looked bad. And you come out on the road against a much better team, they're going to eat your lunch. That's kind of the issue.
Well, there's, I guess, again, glass half full approach, Christy. Let's just be happy that Iowa got a road game against a team like UNI before they went to play Baylor, and hopefully that doesn't happen down there.
Yeah, I mean that would be if I were Jan, not that I would ever be Jan, but that would be the thing I'd point to the game. Like we got to come out strong because you get behind in the first quarter and it makes everything more difficult. Which we had this conversation last year where I said, well, I'd rather lose the first quarter and then win all the rest of them.
Yeah.
But you'd rather just win all of them.
You would rather win all of them. I will say Iowa held UNI to 15 points in the first half and 11 in the third quarter when their starters were still playing. So those are really good defensive numbers. I don't think UNI is some offensive juggernaut. Don't get me wrong, but
no, and they really just had that one really tall, that girl with the really, really long arms.
Yeah,
who was capable of blocking.
Yep.
And I think that presented a challenge because I think that's the first player they've really played against that could do that to Iowa because Iowa has been so much taller than their opponents thus far.
Right. Yeah, and I hate to bring this up, but did you see that free throw from Goebel that bounced off the back? I don't know that I've seen air balls in the NBA. I don't know that I've ever seen an air ball that was missed left. That was
Yeah, they panned to her bench and her own teammates were kind of laughing.
I saw that. I saw the same thing. Oh, you got to be glad this game wasn't on like national ESPN. It was just ESPN Plus, because that was not a good look.
Oh no.
If
no.
I was that coaching staff, I'd probably be having a conversation with some of those girls afterwards, saying, "Look, you got to realize there's cameras here. It's not funny when your teammate airballs a free throw."
Yeah. Well, I mean, she made the next one. She hit the one right after
next
it.
one. Yeah,
so,
it wasn't pretty, but she did make the next one.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to call and clarify my comment. That's what I meant.
Absolutely.
Sometimes when you're just texting in from your phone to the comments, it's hard to put all the words in.
Yep, and I don't always.
And then I just expect you to just know.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Cory. You can't just mind read.
Believe me, you ask my wife. That's not my repertoire.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for having another good show.
Thanks,
I enjoy listening.
Absolutely.
And you have a lovely day, and go Hawks.
Go Hawks. We'll talk to you soon. Good stuff. Thanks, Christy, for calling back in. Cool Water Swish says, Cory, I honestly wanted us to be challenged today by UNI. I was looking for a good competitive change of pace game. It did not occur. Going to be interesting versus Baylor and Miami. Yeah, that's really all you take away from this, right? We've talked for almost 2 hours. The bottom line is we still don't know a ton. I think we know Chit Chat Wright is going to lead them at the on-ball guard spot. They're going to really be relying on the post. Ava Hyden's got to figure out her foul issues. And you got to hit open threes. If you're Taylor McCabe, if you're Kylie Feuerbach, especially if you're Kylie Feuerbach. 2 years ago, I said the same thing about Taylor McCabe, so I'm not being hard on Kylie. That's the bottom line. I said the same thing about Gabby Marshall. Got to hit threes if you're going to be in there and be a liability in other areas. And Taylor McCabe, she for a long time was a liability. Now I'd say she's less of a liability. She's at least feasible as a rebounder, as a defender. She's not great. She's never going to be great. She's just not. I wouldn't be great either. Okay, so I'm not a personal shot. I know a lot of people love Taylor like they love Gabby, but she's not a great defender. But she makes threes in general. She makes threes when she's open. Kylie's got to be able to do that to some extent, better than 22% or whatever she's at right now. The women will be back on the hardwood on Thursday. Iowa-Baylor. What an event this week. Iowa-Baylor and then Iowa-Miami. So busy week coming up for the women, but they'll get a few days to prep for that trip. And also tonight, we'll have post-dual coverage following, Iowa and Ohio State. So our guy Keegan Jensen will take the lead on the post-dual coverage here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. A quick reminder, if you haven't already done so, get over to RTI Threads, folks. I've been promoting their website relentlessly throughout the season. But if you want coverage like this to continue, it's not a given. I promise you it's not a given. Support these athletes over on their NIL stores. Even if you're disappointed and frustrated with the results of these games, NIL, you could say, is the lifeblood of college football nowadays. And I've been sporting my Aaron Graves shirt. Check out the custom logo for Aaron Graves. Buy a ball cap, buy a stocking cap, buy a warm hoodie for the cold season coming up. Customize it in your color of choice. Get it for your favorite friend or family member. Shop it all at rtithreads.com. Use the /NIL or just click on the Athletes NIL tab to enter their NIL store and shop Jacob Gill, Aaron Graves, Zach Lutmer, and Carson Shire. All right. I think that's all she wrote for tonight, folks. I think the phone line has finally died down. So, Jimmy, what happened to Annie from Brooklyn? Annie, we need you to call back in. We hope she's okay. Let us know you're okay, Annie. It's been a while. I think we've seen her in the chat, but I'm not sure. Corey Anderson says he was at the game today with his fiance. A great venue, young team, good to great defense. Team will grow as the season goes and find different ways to win. Thank you, Corey, for that comment. And I hope you enjoyed yourself at the McLeod Center. Josh Gibson, where is Cash? Cash is sick. Cash is sick. So we raised some cold and flu fund money for her and her young one, but it wasn't enough. So well wishes to Kasheen. If you would like to donate to the show and towards my efforts here today, it is much appreciated. Please do that by means of Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. You can also join our Discord. If you mark Discord in the comment section of your donation on either Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App, $5 per month or $50 for a year. Our guy, Tony Schneider, said he would pay for your first month if you sign up for 3 months. So send $10 in, label it Discord. You'll get 3 months ahead to join our Discord server. It's a good time over there. And join the conversation. Again, we'll be back on Thursday. We'll have coverage tonight for Iowa wrestling and coverage Tuesday for the Iowa men's basketball team. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Get well, Cash, and we'll talk to you, everybody. We'll talk to everybody tonight and then on Tuesday. Have a great night.